everyone, and welcome to another episode of Los Banos Talk. My name is Justin Collins, and today we have our guest, Robert Jerome. And so without further ado, I'm going to allow him to introduce himself.
Hi, thank you for having me, Justin. My name is Robert Jerome Pagan, and I'm the Artistic and Executive Director of Workshop 44.
Great. And so could you tell me a little bit more about Workshop 44? What do you guys do? What kind of organization is it?
Yeah, so Workshop 44 is a theatrical educational nonprofit. So we focus on bringing art and creating art through the performing arts. And we really got started. I have a strong belief that growing up, I never really had access to art because it was really expensive to have access to art. And I believe that a good community and a good town has art in it. And so I saw a lacking of availability for art for all areas, from kids to adults, to be able to express themselves through theater and through acting. And so we started Workshop 44 with that ideology of we're going to start an organization that is solely based on creating art and learning as a collective group together. And through that, we have so many programs that we do. We have a virtual education program for kids and adults. And we're currently actually casting a project called Wonderland, which is going to be a theatrical web series. And then we're also working on a few other projects.
No, I agree. I mean, there's definitely a need for local art, and art is very important. I mean, for numerous reasons. I mean, right now we're dealing with a lot of crime lately, and a lot of people have a lot of pain they're feeling, and a lot of people are going through uncertain times. Things are difficult for a lot of people, and there needs to be a creative outlet for that emotion to express that. And in addition to that, when you think about it, some of this problem comes from the fact that people don't have a way, to let out their outlet, and then it maybe comes out in the form of violence or whatever it does. But there is a need to allow for human creative, expression. I mean, that's like a need for us to kind of create, to do, and there needs to be that at the local level, and to allow children or adults or whoever, but to really engage in that. And a lot of people kind of like to dismiss, art as being maybe extra or whatever. But there's a famous quote I like, Winston Churchill, where an officer goes to Winston Churchill and he says, "Sir, we've diverted all the funds from art into the military." And then he says, "Then what are we fighting for?" And the point that essentially is that you're making is that the purpose of peace, the purpose of winning the war, is so you can get back really to art. So you can get back to the things that are fun and the things that are creative and enjoyable. And so art is not necessarily, some secondary, fluff or whatever. It actually is important, and it does matter a lot, especially in the local California economy, because a lot of people don't realize that a huge part of our economy is media production, graphic design, artistic design. I mean, who do you think writes, Hollywood is essentially nothing but media production and art. I mean, our art, our creative property, our intellectual property is a lot of what we produce now in the world's economy. And so it does have value. Significant.
Oh, yes. Well, and then even to go further, like you have Parisa Brewery, who has local bands and local artists, and that spurs the economy. And that is something that I completely agree with you on, is that art helps the economy. I mean, just look at what Playhouse Merced does to Merced downtown. They bring millions of dollars in there just for the people that they bring down there. But I loved the point that you made about Winston Churchill, because my thing is yes, crime is going up. All these things are happening. And a lot of it is because I feel people aren't being seen. And in art, you are seen. When you're able to express yourself through a painting, through graphic art, through a song, through creating, you are being seen, and people are able to understand you in a different level and in a different way than ever before. I mean, I art has changed me in that way. I've learned, I mean, when I was a kid watching Schindler's List in high school, watching that movie alone gave me a whole different understanding of why we as Americans fought and why we want to protect our freedoms. And art is our freedom. And it was so refreshing to hear you say that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's played such a huge role throughout history. I mean, that's my background, history. My concentration was social history. And so one of the things, I mean, I've noticed, and one of the things I've written about is things like, for example, the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Some attribute almost her novel to starting the Civil War in a sense. But the point that essentially is being made is that it was fiction, but it was based on her truth, on reality, and her perception of things in the way they are, and presenting it in a way that was digestible by people. And the point is essentially is that documentaries, movies, creative writings, art, songs, they greatly impact and influence the world. They greatly change things in the way people see. A lot of young people today, they like using memes as a means to kind of do a political quick retort, right? Or in a sense, you could say a clapback theory, right? With Twitter
Yeah.
is kind of, in and of itself, maybe an art or a craft, that's debatable. But the point is essentially is that, these are means of expression, they are art, and they do change things. And so it's good that at a local level, there is an organization that allows people to engage with that and develop that skill and do that and allow them to express themselves.
Yeah, and I also like I know you're a history buff, and I'm also I love history, and I think of the Renaissance, and I think of what Shakespeare did to the nobility and how scared they were of the writings of Shakespeare, and I think that is a perfect example of how theater can actually make an impact in a social climate, in a social way. And I think that all aspects of theater, the connection and growing a community and understanding, a lot of people get that understanding through sports, which is awesome. And I used to play soccer and football, and I used to wrestle, and understanding a team is very important. But some kids don't have that experience with sports, but they have that experience with theater where they feel like they're a part of a team, and they have someone and something and friends that are there. And I think that's what we all long for, especially in the community here. Is sometimes I feel we're so disconnected that we long for that connection. And in COVID, it's been obviously way worse.
Right. And so in terms of that connection, so you guys are doing casting, right, for Wonderland, if I'm not
Yes, we
mistaken?
are. Yes, we are. We are doing casting for Wonderland, and basically, we're asking anyone who's interested to send in a selfie or a headshot, a little paragraph of their interest in theater to casting at casting at workshop44.com, .org. And we read them, and we're doing a lot of virtual stuff right now as we get stuff ready for COVID compliance and stuff like that, because that also has made a huge difference in how you do community theater and how you are able to interact with people. And like you said, it's a huge part of our economy. But yeah, so I mean, and we're looking for people of all ages. We have kids roles, we have adult roles, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And so we hope that people from the town really come out and audition, because I'd love to have some more local talent in the shows.
Yes. So I have another question. You guys produce four different shows, or vodcasts, as we could call it, video podcast, if you're unaware of what that is. Could you tell us a little bit about those and how they can watch it?
Yeah. Okay. So we have a couple of different podcasts. One of our most popular ones is called Feed Me Theater, and it's kind of like a quick cooking show. we talk. The host talks a little bit about theater and sometimes has guests, and then gives you a recipe that you could try at home. They talk about prop food. They pull recipes from Broadway actors and do it in that. And you could find that on our Facebook, and you can find it on our Facebook Workshop 44, and then you can find it on YouTube through the 44 Virtual Drama Club. And we also have one called Ghost Light, and that is a show kind of like a supernatural history channel type of deep dive into like legends and different ghost stories that happen around theater. And then we have one called The Show Must Go On, which is basically a general topic show about theater. And then we have America Isolated, which is a focus show on BIPOC artists and the new theater movement and representation and what that means in modern theater and modern film and modern television, and basically what COVID has brought up to light. We've all had a lot of time to sit around and think, which is not usual for us. We're always so on the go as people. And now there's a new movement and a new form and a new ideology coming, and we're exploring that in that show. And then of course we have Wonderland, which will be a web series and a huge multimedia project called Last Gasp, which is coming out in January, and that will be awesome.
And are these shows to watch? Are they free to watch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So one of our big beliefs as an organization is that art should be accessible. And so in this time of COVID, art isn't happening, and that's sad. And so we want people to be able to interact. We've done 3 international cabarets that they can also find for free on the 44 Virtual Drama Club. Everything's for free, and it will be released, and people will be able to watch and experience the projects. And everyone that has worked on these projects has donated their time and volunteered for free, including myself. None of us get paid. It is all strictly about putting back in, creating art, and making sure we have that connection. And down from writers, directors to actors, we're all doing it for the love of the art form.
About how many episodes, about how frequently would you say episodes come out on each show? You give me a ball.
So for like our normal vodcast, we try to get like 3 to 4 episodes per vodcast out a month. They are a little sporadic because we all also work outside of what we do here. So as you know, sometimes you have to schedule this and do this. So it's really hard to sometimes keep to a tight schedule, but we release them frequently. And we give everyone about a day before they come out to let them know that they're coming out. And if you like and follow us on our Instagram and our Facebook, they come out immediately through there. So that's the first access, and then they get transferred to YouTube. And then Last Gasp and Wonderland is more your traditional Hulu, Netflix type series. So we're going to be releasing episodes once a month for 12 months. So that's going to be something interesting.
Cool. All right. So in other words, if they want to tune with it, the best ways are they can go to your Facebook page, like and follow that. They go to Instagram. That's the other choice. So I'm guessing Instagram TV. And then the other option is YouTube, but that comes afterwards, so they can subscribe to your channel.
Yeah, they can subscribe to our channel. And then starting in January, we're going to do a donation service. So like if you donate, because we are a nonprofit, so if you donate like $200, you'll get episodes before anyone else sees them. So like that's another way to get access as well, and also get a tax write-off because we're a 501c3. So that's how we kind of thrive. Every artist puts a lot of their own money into the projects, but we also thrive off of private and personal donations, and we've been lucky to have some sponsorships for some of our live shows, and we're looking for more as we continue to grow as an organization, because we just want people to have access to art. And unfortunately it costs money sometimes to do art, but that's what our passion is.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, everything unfortunately pretty much costs money, and that's just the reality of things. But but a lot of times things can be made up with, at least with service or people willing to help out and things like that.
Yeah, and like everything we have is a donation program. So like even our acting classes and stuff like that, they're only $20 a month. But $20 a month is sometimes is milk and bread. So mom and dad, if mom and dad can't do $20 a month, but they can help put out a Facebook post and donate some time to advertise, or dad will make a prop. That that's what we'd rather have that than people go bankrupt. And that's a big part of the what we do.
Great. So I'm going to put all the links to all those things, the Facebook, the Instagram, and the YouTube channel in the description of this video, so you don't have to go searching for it. It'll be there. Also have the email address he listed for the Wonderland casting. And before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I want to say, well, thank you, Justin, for doing all the hard work you're doing, because your interviews are probably some of the most informative interviews that I get here in local news. So thank you for that. And I just think that everyone should support art in our town. And if it's not with us, there's some great organizations. You have the Arts Council, you have Los Banos Community Theater. There's a lot of other organizations and great things here. So just get art in our lives. And whichever way you do that, that's amazing.
All right. Thank you very much. You've listened to another episode of Los Banos Talk. If you haven't already, please like and follow or share. I greatly appreciate it. My name's Justin Collins, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.